Part 2 and its debates on clauses 27 to 36A stand part. I call the Honourable Minister Chris Finlayson.
I thought it might be helpful to the committee, Mr Chair. I'll just let Mr Tish in. Thank you for your great service.
I'm here.
And I hope I get 15 extra. Oh, you can start me again if you like. I thought it may be helpful to the committee if I take honourable members through the key aspects of the proposed amendments in Part 2, which deals with the Inspector General of Intelligence and Security Act 1996, and these proposed amendments are designed to increase oversight and to, as it were, beef up the Office of Inspector General. Under the current legislation, the Inspector General in Section 5 must be a retired High Court judge, and the term of the appointment of that person is 3 years, which is renewable indefinitely. The only statutory provision in this legislation is the Inspector General, who has the ability to hire staff necessary to carry out the functions of the office, and that's a reference to Section 10. The bill proposes a number of major changes. The first is that the requirement to be a retired High Court judge is removed, and the aim of that is to provide a greater pool of candidates and experience to fill the role. The term does, however, remain 3 years, but an individual can only serve 2 terms. There's a new statutory provision, or position I should say, that of Deputy Inspector General of Intelligence and Security. That person will have all the powers of the Inspector General, but subject to their control, and it's created to bolster the capacity of the office, a bit like, I guess, the Deputy Judicial Complaints Authority. The bill, what it does is to recognise the expanded role of the office and to help the Inspector General, and indeed the government will be making greater resources available to the Inspector General to carry out that the proposed expanded role of the office. We then come to the functions of the Inspector General. Under the current legislation, the Inspector General has wide-ranging functions to review the policies and the work of the intelligence agencies. But note that own motion reviews under the 1996 Act are subject to the concurrence of the Minister. This changes quite significantly because the requirement for ministerial concurrence is removed, and this will give greater autonomy and independence to the Inspector General. And the bill also adds, importantly, without limiting the general nature of the functions of the office, a function of auditing compliance policies and procedures, and very, very importantly, and I refer to clause 31, and that will amend section 11, refer to subclause DA, the ability to conduct or carry out spot audits. The next issue concerns consultation with other oversight bodies. The Inspector General at the present time can communicate with bodies such as the Privacy Commissioner, the Human Rights Commission and the Auditor General when conducting inquiries. Importantly, under the bill, the Independent Police Conduct Authority is added to the list of agencies with whom the Inspector General can communicate. Mr Chair, I want now to refer to reports of the Inspector General. Under the current legislation, the Inspector General prepares an annual report and a report on each inquiry which he or she undertakes. There are limitations on the publication of reports due to the security classification. Under the proposed changes, the Inspector General's annual report must certify the extent to which each agency's compliance systems are sound, and the Inspector General will also be required to make an unclassified version of their inquiry reports publicly available on an internet site which will be maintained for the Inspector General. The aim is greater transparency, greater public scrutiny. Mr. Chair, the final point is the advisory panel. Mr. Chair, the only statutory provision, as I said, in the 1996 legislation is the Inspector General. As I said, that person has the ability to hire staff necessary to carry out the functions of the role which are currently contained in Section 11 of the Act. The bill will insert an advisory panel to be a sounding board for the Inspector General. The board consists of the Inspector General and 2 independent members. That is actually, sir, a matter which is referred to in Mr. Dunn's SOP. I refer to it now because I think it's a very good suggestion, a very sound suggestion, and one that the government is very happy to support. So, in general terms, sir, what we're doing here is addressing issues of transparency and oversight, and also increasing the resources of the office to reflect the increased heavy responsibilities of the Inspector General.
Call Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This part of the bill is significantly better